day, Jay Powell said, look, maybe we can be able to change the cadence of what we do. Maybe we look like people felt 50 basis points, maybe not that tight. Maybe this number this morning wouldn't be so strong. And Jeff, the number has shown no slowdown from the previous 2 months once you revised it.
They added the economy added 263,000 jobs in November, looking for 200,000. Robust across a lot of different sectors. Maybe we're focusing too much on tech layoffs, trying to extrapolate that because many other industries are seeing job gains.
Right, and medical is kind of like on fire post COVID. So they're hiring again. They've been pretty much
nurses,
frozen, and it's an amazing number. And then government. Like, what do we expect? I mean, the government is now starting to reap all that money that they voted.
Yep.
So we may be thinking that the economy is about to fall off a cliff. We should be focused on the fact that there are a lot of companies that are still in business that haven't gone out yet, and we've got a lot of negative guidance that we'll get to. But the fact is, medical, health, government are all on fire.
And wages were hot. Average hourly earnings up 0.6% month over month. That compares to an expectation of a 0.3% increase. And it's an acceleration from the prior month, 0.4. Year over year, it's up 5.1. So it's a pretty hot number.
Yeah, I mean, look, the way I would look at it is this. If you were coming out of a recession because you've been cutting rates, and these are the kinds of numbers that you'd be hopeful for. Except for we don't have that. We have to have this lower because we have wages not keeping up with the goods that they have to buy. Now, if we did see a big decline in goods, what could happen is you could have a Fed chief that says, you know what, we are winning. Year over year, it's not up that much, but year over year, prices aren't up that much, so we're fine. We don't have the latter yet, though.
Yeah. Now, this report is sparking the debate. What will the Fed do at their meeting coming up on December 14th? And will we have to be higher for longer? Does that even extend it out? But I think 50 basis points at the December meeting. I thought Powell made it pretty clear when he spoke the other day that this downshift in rate hikes is to be expected.
But this is unexpected, that this is only off that. Now, it is early. Okay, it is early, and it's Friday. There could be some more selling. I saw the defense stocks are up really big. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah.
But I can easily craft a scenario where people say, you know what, I'm going to get out of Dodge. This is just too risky, given the fact of what we just saw. This goes back to 39. This is what I think is in people's minds. Now, it's not in my mind. My mind is we have a lot of cash. I'm looking to buy
is a little overbought.
The meeting that Jeff and I had this morning, he's like, well, look, it's overbought, but how about this? And meantime, the ones that you really would buy, Estee Lauder has already moved too much.
Yeah, Estee Lauder rising today. Perhaps it's some China reopening, but also Ulta, as you talked about the other day, really strong numbers
Ulta
last
was
night.
A great quarter last night, and don't anyone tell you it's not great. And the fact is they're selling a lot of MAC, which is just terrific news. By the way, Elf was mentioned too.
Yep.
Now,
skincare, fragrance, makeup, all double-digit comp growth for Ulta.
This is huge. People are spending money on themselves, even though, by the way, retail hiring was not explosive, and hotel and restaurant was down. That was the area that I knew. And
anyway, guys, so let me just chime in here. Remember last week, but the past couple of weeks, we've been telling you to buy Estee Lauder, and we've been telling you that stock was great. That stock was at 189. No, that stock's go up 230 something. So if you had invested some money in there, it doesn't give really a dividend. It's a skincare makeup company, but the stock has continued to go up, and it will go further. Remember, this is a $300 stock. I don't know. I cannot tell you to buy it right now. I'm going to tell you should wait for a pullback before you could buy it. But if you want, you could buy Starbucks. I think Starbucks is still going good. But continue looking at these stocks and continue listening to Jim Cramer and Jeff Marks, guys, because once we talk about it 2-3 times, and I said this is the time, and you see that low, get in before it's too late. All right, so let's just go back and finish the report with Estee Lauder and hear what they gotta say. All right.
Totally. All right, so let's talk about the fact of what a guide down looks like of a stock that we own that I'd love to get back in after its inventories are lean, and that's Marvell Tech, which I think is a very good company with great storage capabilities, but it's got data center business, not just, by the way, PCs, and yet it didn't make the cut.
Yeah, so we exited this not too long ago on the concern that pretty much every semiconductor had some type of shortfall. They were the only ones not to deliver a shortfall yet, so they were almost due for one. and that occurred last night when they
and it was
when they
make no
missed on
mistake about it.
earnings. And
This is a gift. If you do still own it, I would sell it because this is not down enough versus the guidance that they gave last night.
So we're not in Marvell anymore, but I think we can make some read-throughs about what they've said into the names in our portfolio, most specifically in their data center business. Really ugly guidance, calling for, I think it was around 20%.
And that's Amazon Web Services,
sequential,
Microsoft.
Yeah, a decline.
China.
Right. So they're talking about digestion from some hyperscalers, which is could be a negative read-through perhaps to an AMD.
Right.
NVIDIA.
So I'm just going to draw this. So they saw incredible demand, the data centers, for Marvell's products. Okay. So they go into Marvell and they order 2 times what they need so they can get because everything's on allocation. So then they fill up. Okay. So then, boom, now they don't need it anymore. And so Marvell's order book goes like that. And what's happened is it's actually like that, which is why I think 42 is too high.
Yep. And
that it's all inventory.
Yeah.
All inventory.
Right. And this is something, it's going to take a couple quarters to play out. It will.
All right, guys. So just want to jump in quick here. I do agree with that situation there that I would stay away from Marvell. I would stay away from a lot of tech unless it's a big company like Google or Apple or Amazon. Then you could dive into that. That company been struggling. I don't think the dividend is that great to tell you to take a chance. So I will take Marvell maybe in the 30s. But right now, I still agree with Jim that it's really too high at 42. I haven't seen the stock done anything within the last year to justify because the quarter was weak and they missed. And as we know, tech been under a lot of pressure. So not because they missed, I don't think you should get in right now. I think you should just hold and wait. So let's get back to the CNBC Investment Club, guys, and look at some more stocks, and we come back and close off.
Bottom at some point, but Marvell, you mentioned before, we are kind of interested to get it back into it because its secular drivers are still very strong. 5G, auto, and of course data center. But again, it's going to take a couple quarters.
Just so people know, only 10% of it is PC. Now, it's much more for a lot of the other companies. But at the same time, what the company is thinking is that the guys who haven't gotten it yet, if you have Texas Instruments, if you have Analog Devices, if you have NXP, take profits.
Yep.
The last to fall.
Exactly. And Jim, another name, they reported the other night, got hit when they announced that co-CEO Brett Taylor was stepping down from the company. Wolf Research, a long-term bull on Salesforce, they moved to peer perform. They say their thesis of Salesforce as a 30% free cash flow compounder has changed with growth decelerating to the low teens.
I mean, Salesforce is a very big company. It can't continue to grow at the same pace that it did. That said, the absence of Brett Taylor is hurting the stock. Why is this Brett Taylor? Okay, so I know Brett pretty well, and he's a sensational guy, sports fan. And Brett was under such fire from Musk. Remember, Musk was saying that they're just liars.
So he was chairman of Twitter.
And a lot of people were saying to him, listen, it's Musk, don't mess with it. You'll never get it. And I talked to him about it. I said, listen, why are you tangling with Musk? He says, because the law's on my side and we're going to win. He's going to pay 52. And I said, but nobody thinks that. He goes, I don't really care. I said, but it's Musk. I was just provoking him. He said, I don't care who it is. The law's the law. He's going to lose. He's going to pay 52. The shareholders will do well. And that was him. So then he finishes that. And it's almost as if, well, wait a second. If this guy wants to do something, the world's his oyster. He defeated Musk. So he has billions at his disposal to be able to build a new company.
Yep. So we moved this to a 2 on that day of the cooler than expected CPI print. That
very
really
good move.
The NASDAQ was flying. What would it take to get more bullish in the name? A reacceleration?
I'm going to see the company.
They are making that pivot towards profitability.
I'm going to see the company December 7th.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of time with them. I'm going to make my decision then. I will come back to you that night or that morning and tell you about the hours that I spent with them. I'm going to spend many hours with them, a whole bunch of different things to see what they're saying, because they need to be saying something more than what they're saying.
Right.
Anyway, guys, so just wanted to give you a couple news, guys. If you're in my Patreon, please consider to look at your email. I'm just listening to I just got a text from the investment club, and Microsoft has a deal to buy Activision Blizzard they're saying that it has been a tremendous scrutiny since it was first announced back in January. But at least one Wall Street research firm says it's highly likely that the deal will be completed in the near future. So, guys, if you're in Patreon, please head over to Patreon. I'll be actually sharing that complete article. And if you're not in my Patreon, please consider joining Patreon. It is a lot more just than the video. I'll let you know everything that is happening with the CNBC Investment Club. Let me just talk about Salesforce. That stock used to be last year around 225, 230. So I would kind of wait still, I said before, with the sale that is going on in the stock. Was a stock sale. Choose very carefully what you buy. Look at customer stocks that does things, give dividend back. That's why I still like Coterra, which is about around $27, $27. It's 50% gas, 50% oil. So consider buying a stock that give dividend, guys. Anyway, thank you for watching the video, guys. And please don't forget to comment and subscribe to the channel. And as promised, I'm going to be doing a video over the weekend where we talk about my portfolio and I could show you the stock I invest in. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching the video.